Hello, and welcome to the Anime Corner of Stone Soup.
The world according to sci-fi geeks. So Sean still Nans. Nice to see you all again.
Hello. Today we're reviewing Studio Ghibli's The Secret World of Arrietty.
Known in Japan as Arrietty the Borrower.
Because it's based on the novel The Borrowers. Why they changed the name for when they brought it over here, we do not know.
Not a clue.
Completely unnecessary, quite frankly. After all, we've done our own versions of The Borrowers. But oh well.
The book was written like 1954 with 4 sequels.
Go figure.
And has been adapted several times. This is actually the second most recent. The most recent being the recent British live-action version, modern-day set, with amongst other actors, Ninth Doctor Christopher Eccleston as Dad Pod. But that's another discussion.
Yes, Mom and I will be reviewing that at a later date. Now, as for this one, first of all, let us point out that although it is Studio Ghibli, it is not one of Miyazaki's. It's one of the other directors. People tend to hear Ghibli and immediately think it's Miyazaki. They do have more than one director.
I mean, yeah. Planning and screenplay by Miyazaki, but that's about it.
Yes, he had a hand in it, but he was not the primary director. Although, as we understand it, the actual director, who was that?
According to this...
He did ask Miyazaki's advice several times before he realized, I need to do this on my own. And it's beautiful. It really is.
Hiromasa Yonebayashi. If I pronounced that right, it's the very last name.
Yeah, that looks right. Anywho, now it should start by saying that this is not an action piece. It is kind of slow, but you know, it's a friendship story.
Yeah.
And it's as I said before, it's beautiful. The animation is just stunning. The voice acting is quite good. You know, we watched the dub. We haven't watched the original Japanese yet.
And as I understand it, only the big people were renamed from Japanese to English. Go figure.
Well, you know, all the borrowers had their own names to begin with. They weren't technically English either.
This is true.
Or Japanese.
In fact, in the original book, as I understand it, the boy didn't even have a name. He was just the boy.
You would think Arrietty would ask his name.
He was also in from India recovering from rheumatic fever.
Huh. Here he had a heart condition.
Yeah.
And he was, I guess, Japanese. We've just been informed that rheumatic fever can cause a heart condition. But to our memory, there's no mention of of rheumatic fever in this movie.
Well, in the dub version, we need to really look at the original Japanese.
True. Anyway, is it... let's see. What can we say? It is...
The structure of the Borrower's world underground is quite interesting.
Yes. You know, it's so much easier to do animated than live action.
Oh, yes.
You know, when you're only about 3 inches tall, everything is different.
Oh, yeah.
The basic story of The Secret World of Arrietty is this boy, he comes to stay at, what is his aunt's? Grandma's?
Yeah, his aunt's, I think.
Yeah, to rest before he has heart surgery. And they happen to have teeny little people living in their floor. Only the housekeeper thinks this, and of course people think she's a little bit nuts. But the little people actually are there. There's a family, Mom, Dad, and the daughter, Arrietty. And Dad's about to teach Arrietty how to borrow, which is to say, sneak into the house at night and grab things humans aren't going to miss. A single tissue, a cube of sugar.
Yeah, there's even a sequence where they're going through a dollhouse, and Arrietty suggests taking some of the furniture, and Dad, Pod, states quite clearly, no, we can't take anything that the beings would miss. Being a storing of beings, as in us.
Yes. They survive by not being seen because, well, even humans who want to be friendly, things can go wrong once people know. But, of course, Arrietty gets spotted by the boy.
Complete accident.
She's pulling out a tissue, looks over, and he's looking at her. Whoops. You know, he was in bed. He was supposed to be asleep. Go figure. And things go, you know, south for the family from there. But, you know, Arrietty and the young man, what was his name?
Sean.
Sean. You would think I would remember that. I haven't watched. I watched it a month or two ago. Anyway, they become good friends. He helps her and her family get out of there so they can find a new home because the housekeeper is a little bit nuts.
And eventually finds them.
And calls them exterminators. Yeah.
To flush them out, amongst other things. Oopsie.
Yeah, mind you, she was saying she had like mice, which they also did. But, you know, it's just charming. Like almost everything Ghibli does, Studio Ghibli does. It is beautiful and it is charming. Again, it's a bit slow because it's not an action piece. But it's still enjoyable. And it's a good one to be watching with your younger children. For one thing, unlike some of the things like, oh, Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, they won't get confused or frightened.
Now, there is one other borrower who makes an appearance. His name is Spiller. He pops in later.
Yes. A little, sort of a, you know,
And he also helps
feral borrower.
guide the other three out when the time comes.
Now, neither one of us have read the book, so we don't know how accurate it is to the book. But as a standalone movie, it's great.
Now, what I have read online, Spiller doesn't actually appear until the second book for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
Hey, writer's world, writer's prerogative.
Exactly. But, yes. Like pretty much everything we've seen from Studio Ghibli, we hardly recommend this one. And you don't have to be an anime fan to enjoy it. If you're just like a casual animation fan, you can enjoy this. My mom did. You notice that she doesn't do anime reviews with me because she ain't into anime. But Ghibli she can do.
Charming story, beautiful artwork, worth the trouble.
And I love that Arrietty holds her hair back with this great big paperclip. I'd love to see somebody do that at a convention. It'd be hilarious.
Definitely.
And that is the secret world of Arrietty.
Yeah, I think we're good there.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye-bye.